Hello everyone, welcome to my review of The Accountant, directed by Gavin O'Connor and written by Bill Dubuque, starring Ben Affleck, Anna Kendrick, J.K. Simmons, John Bernthal, and Cynthia Addai-Robinson. Before I continue this review, I just want to specify that there will be no plot spoilers within it, or at least I will try not to reveal any of the plot as much as I can. The film is about a high-functioning autistic man portrayed by Ben Affleck, who also happens to be an accountant for many dangerous people around the world, while also being a very highly trained assassin. But when Ben Affleck's character takes on a job that's seemingly an easy accountant job for him, things get very complicated as more and more revealed about this job. Those of you out there are probably very familiar with Gavin O'Connor, because he is the director of Miracle and Warrior. Warrior is a very underrated film starring Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. In my opinion, Gavin O'Connor is a very solid director, and that is what we get here in this film. We get a very solid film. I think it's well made, well acted. There are some screenplay issues that I'm going to get into a little bit later, but I have to say overall I really enjoyed this film. I really enjoyed that it wasn't the traditional action film, although it is marketed as mostly an action film, when it really isn't. It is mostly a film about character, and that character being Ben Affleck's character, who, as I said in the synopsis, is an autistic man. So we get a lot of backstory about his childhood and his struggle with autism and how he has been able to deal with the world as a result of that. I have to say the film has done a great job in terms of being a film about autistic awareness, in the sense we see children in this film who have autism and have other types of mental handicaps or mental deficiencies, and it shows how they need the necessary care and development in order to make them fully functioning human beings in the real world, because they are normal people, but they just have these handicaps that we as a society and we as a people need to assist them with. And it's a great film where it shows from that angle. Like I said, the film is not traditionally an action film. The film is much more of a slow kind of plotting character piece. And I'll say this. The film delves into Ben Affleck's character in a very interesting way in terms of how it delivers the information to us as a viewer. It doesn't give us a linear, this is him as a child, this is him as an adult. No, it starts off with him as an adult, and then we get his childhood in flashbacks, and we see a very harsh and very crude upbringing that he went through, specifically when it came to the character of his father, who was a very diligent, strong, harsh military man who didn't believe in the necessary treatment that his son needed. He thought that he could essentially fix his son on his own through his harsh methods. But as I was saying, the film jumps back and forth between present and past. We get to see small snippets of Ben Affleck's character's childhood. We get kind of small, non-contextual pieces, and then it's only later on that we're able to actually put these pieces together. I kind of treat it as an analogy to a puzzle, where we're given these puzzle pieces, and it's only later on when we get more puzzle pieces that we're able to put the entire puzzle together. And that's how I feel the film is structured. And I found that to be very interesting and almost refreshing in that sense, that we're not getting this linear kind of generic, this is him as a child, this is him growing up, this is him now as an adult, and we see the progression. No, we have to kind of do heavy legwork our own as viewers. Even though the film is not a traditional action film, when the action does hit, it hits hard and fierce, and it is executed very good in my opinion. There are some action sequences where there's shaky cam used, which is a bit of a problem, but it's not overused, and it doesn't take away from how great and how entertaining these action sequences are, because Ben Affleck's character is a highly trained assassin. A lot of people have compared his character to Jason Bourne. I would say it's more like John Wick in that fierceness. John Wick, if you haven't seen that movie yet, I do highly recommend it. Keanu Reeves in that film is this highly fierce, trained assassin, and his kills are very violent and very brutal and very quick. That is how I would describe the action in this film. It is very fast, it is very brutal. The acting in this film, in my opinion, is very good. Specifically, Ben Affleck. You see just how nuanced and how difficult it is to pull off this type of character, because it is someone who is socially awkward and has all of these other types of mental problems, in the sense like he's very OCD, he is subject to outbursts and things like that. It is a very nuanced performance from Ben Affleck, and there is one scene in particular that I felt to be extremely powerful and well done. There's a scene between Anna Kendrick and Ben Affleck's character in a hotel. I won't give you any type of plot or anything like that because I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'll just say it's him trying to be normal, trying to be social, but he can only do it in his own way because of his autism. And it's a very interesting, well done scene that initially I felt went on a little long, but it really makes a lot of sense because of the way his character is. Also, you have actors like J.K. Simmons, who is an Oscar-winning actor. He always brings a good performance to every film that I see him in. He's a great actor. Anna Kendrick is another actress. She is an Oscar nominee, so she has that acting caliber pedigree, and she is in the film not much, but when she is in it, I feel like her character is rather genuine and serves the plot accordingly. I would have liked to have seen her a little bit more, but I feel like she is in there necessarily to interact with Ben Affleck's character, and they work very well on screen with one another. Jon Bernthal is an actor who I'm hoping more people are becoming aware of because he is an excellent actor. He has shown up in a lot of films, and as well as the Netflix series Daredevil Season 2, where he played the Punisher and gave a fantastic performance in that series. So I hope a lot of people are taking note of who he is, because I feel we're going to see a lot more of him. The biggest negative aspect I have for this film is that towards the end of the second act of the film, there is a large amount of exposition explaining the backstory of Ben Affleck's character, which I felt really took away from how the film was being structured up to this point. Because, like I said, the film was giving us tidbits, giving us small puzzle pieces of who this character is, of how his life was, and then all of a sudden, we get this very long expositional dialogue giving us the rest of the information. It's almost as if, why would you structure the film accordingly if you're just going to give us all the information in this manner anyway? I understand why they did it. We needed that information to kind of put the character together and to have a more clear picture of who he is, but I felt the manner in which it was delivered to us took away from the rest of the film. Also, there is a twist in the third act, a twist that if you're paying attention throughout the whole film, you will see coming well before it happens. It's pretty obvious, and I know a lot of people probably are going to catch it very early on. I know I did. While it doesn't necessarily take away from the film, it does kind of put a halt to the third act and kind of wrap things up in a very quick and almost too easy way that I felt was almost like a cop-out to the story. Overall, I really like this film a lot. It's not a traditional action film, but it does have a lot of good character work, great acting. There's some humor throughout it, which gives a lot of levity to the film, and I feel like it's also a very well-made film by Gavin O'Connor. So I'm going to give this film a 3.75 out of 5 stars. This has been my review of The Accountant, directed by Gavin O'Connor. If you like this video, please stick around because there are going to be a lot more movie reviews like this to come.